Waxler here with my co-host Andrea Kay and Al Arias, and we have a very interesting guest to go with right now is Patrick Clark from REIG.
Thanks for having me on.
Welcome. So let's start out. Tell us, what does our REIG stand for, and what do you do?
REIG is our mission statement. It's our company core values. The R stands for revitalizing communities. The E stands for elevating expectations. I is integrity first, and G is gratitude always. And we're a real estate investment company and a construction company.
Wow. So now, before we go into what you do now, what did you do before you got started here?
So I was in the Marine Corps for that's what brought me out to San Diego, and about 14 years ago. So I was a Marine for a few years, and then got out, went to school, and then started selling assets for the bank. So I was an asset manager. I managed anywhere from 200 to 300 properties at a time over 24 states, and these were foreclosures. So it was during the glut of the foreclosure meltdown, and so I sold those properties. Sold about 1,200 properties over a 4-year period.
Wow.
And that's where I met my business partner Brian Daly, and the two of us in 2011, August 2011, we both had growing families, and it's expensive out here. So, those pain points forced us to go out and venture out and network in the community and get out there and start buying real estate and fixing them up and selling them. So that's what we've been primarily our main focus the last 3 years. We've done over 100 homes in that time frame. And
that's pretty gutsy.
100 homes is a lot.
Yeah. And it's pretty gutsy just to go into business instead of taking the leap to go work for, somebody else. You know what I mean? As maybe like a project manager.
There it is. I mean, there's a big difference between people who want to do something and people actually go do something. And if you guys watch the show Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, he throws a term out there like you have entrepreneurs and you have entrepreneurs, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that try business for a few years. They eventually go back to an industry, and 90% of businesses fail by year 7, and of those that make it, another 90% fail by year 10. So it's, that's no guarantee that we're going to be around in 4 years from now, or, and so that's my main focus right now, is ensuring that we're putting our focus on the ball to go out there and stay in business. And for me and my partner and our whole team, we have 43 employees now within a 3-year period.
Wow.
We have 43 of us. And the center of what we do is revitalizing communities. That giving back, the gratitude always is what we do. And so our team gets behind it. Our culture is wrapped up in it, and everybody's teams together to give back as a company. And so not only can we buy a home that's been vacant for 5 years, that the foundation's cracked, and we can go in and fix it up, put a good family in it, increase the values. We're elevating expectations that way throughout the community. But also, my purpose here today is to talk about the initiative that we are doing, which is REIG Operation Renovation. And this is, we are, being a former Marine myself, we're going to select a veteran or active duty family in San Diego who owns their home and renovate their home for them. So it'll be a little bit like the Extreme Makeover Home Edition, where we select the family, take them out of the home, and fix it up.
I think that's amazing to see
right?
something like that come from a local company, versus having the big TV cameras on you that have all the big money from the television. So tell us more. Tell us exactly what you're doing with Operation Renovation.
So what it is we have, the window is open right now for people to go on our website, which is REIGoperationrenovation.com. They can apply, or they can nominate a family member. It is for veteran or active duty who own their home. And so the application period is open right now, and it closes on July 31st. So we're right around the corner. We want to do it next year. This year our goal is to do one home, and alone we can do one. We can bring awareness to this initiative that we're doing. But then next year, enlisting the help of the community and other business owners, we want to rally together and do more homes. So July 31st, people can go on our website, REIGoperationrenovation.com, and apply. And then in the month of August, we're going to have a panel. It's people outside of our organization and representatives of our company as well, but we're going to have some active duty and veteran members of the military who are going to select the family. And then we'll probably in September timeframe is when we're going to announce who that family is going to be the recipient of the home renovation.
Have you outlined your criteria? Like, what's important to you? What's going to, you think, going to reach into your guys in your panel and say, this, I think, is the family?
Well, so there's a couple different purposes here. One is that individual family that we can impact. So my goal would be, just to throw out an ideal candidate, young family, young or old, but somebody who's been living with a disability in a home, who maybe had a transition out of the military, who now has to figure out what are they going to do in this big old bad world. And that can be a scary point, a scary time in their life of that transition. Plus, you got an injury on top of it. So taking care of their home isn't necessarily, it's something that lacks. It's when you're putting all your focus in these other areas, the home tends to deteriorate. So that would be my situation. A family who's maybe been, the cabinets are too high, the door, widen the doorways and make that house more conducive and appropriate to somebody who is a hero, who served our country, who made the sacrifice that, enables us to all be sitting in this room. So that's my ideal situation. But we'll see what the panel says and what family we end up selecting for this year.
Wow, that's fabulous.
Amazing.
My hat's off to you. I want to touch base on something we talked about before the show went on air. And you got started 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You were up to 43 employees, and one of the things that I always tap into is people who overcome adversity. And I wouldn't necessarily call this adversity, but it's in that line. You and your partner started this whole business with $5,000 in your pocket.
Correct.
That's a dream that so many entrepreneurs, I want to hear the story. How did you start with $5,000 and actually accomplish what you have?
Well, so I grew up in the Midwest, and part of the reason I joined the Marine Corps was, I could have gone to college, but I didn't have a bright future paying for that college or finishing college. And so what a lot of people did where I grew up was, construction or areas that they're still there doing that. And I left because I didn't come from a family who had a lot of money. So same token, when I was done with the Marine Corps, done with college, had this experience of real estate under my belt, when it came time to, okay, we want to go invest, we didn't have, a whole lot of people on our list that we could turn to. So it's with doing deals in real estate, the old chicken or the egg question, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, the deal or the money or the deal? We tried focusing and going out and raising money to, hey, who wants to give us money to go buy real estate, to fix it up and sell it? Not a lot of people were lining up to do that.
Right.
So we switched our focus on, okay, let's go find the deals and bring the deals to the people with the money. And so that was our focus of just, we put up the earnest money. We got some deals under contract. We then shopped those deals to other investors who like the spread on it, because the numbers are what they are on real estate. And so took that next step to finding people who had some funds to put up to buy a couple properties. So we did that through our first 7 deals, and then by that time we had created a little fund that we could now put the down payment to go do hard money loans and go buy real estate. And so now we starting from that point where we each put in $2,500, we raised over $36 million and bought over 100 homes in 3 years.
Wow. How does a Marine learn how to do that? Do they teach that in basic?
I think that's called the work ethic you got out of the Marines. So you're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-hosts Andrea Kay and Al Arias, and our guest is Patrick Clark from REIG. So you've taken, you took $5,000 of collective money, which probably was everything that you guys had at that point.
I actually had a boat that was broken, and I sold it for $3,000 to put it
wow,
in my $2,500.
That's awesome.
Well, I love those kind of stories. I resemble that remark from when I started when I was 22.
And now you can go buy a new boat.
One day. That's what my wife keeps telling me. She's like, one day I'm going to get my boat back.
Okay.
The real miracle is being able to hire 43 employees.
Mm-hmm.
When I started my firm,
right,
I hired my employees through headhunters. It only cost me $300,000.
Yeah.
People are important, and that's coming from the Marine Corps, where you can't fire somebody, you just deal with the Marine. You may put them in a not so good situation, but you still have that man or woman. So when it's hiring your own, it definitely, that's our focus, and why we feel we are in a position to do this is because we're focusing on our people as number one. Our culture is more important than our strategy. Strategy's close second, but we want world-class people and all-world people, and it took a couple trial and errors with that, and I definitely appreciate the headhunter business now, having to do that yourself and wear all these 15 hats at the same time while we are growing until we can get those people. and sometimes you gotta have a little changeover to make sure you do have the right people. But that's been the people element of business is relevant to any business, not just real estate, not just construction, not just the military. It's people element is something that you definitely have to figure out if you want to be a business owner out there.
I think you said something really important when you started to remark about culture. You get them in the door, and you brought them in because you thought they could really do the work, and then they start doing the work, and you start running into all the issues. And what the contributor, I think, to overcoming the issues is to create a culture. So in my firm, for example, I have a culture of strategic thinking, right?
And
you know what? They picked up on it. It was like you're just pounding that home, boom, boom, boom. So I'm curious about your culture, how you did it.
So ours is we treat them like family. We stock our fridge, we feed our family, we feed our employees, and we have a suggestion box. And actually, this operation renovation came out of the suggestion box from an employee who said, "Hey, we should donate a home renovation." And that was where the idea seeded. So creating a culture where people can think and not just keep their head down and do their job fosters other ideas that can take the company, innovate the company, and keep it going past year 3 or year 7. And it takes that innovation and change, because if you're not always looking at the horizon and have people who look on the horizon as well, you're going to miss things and falter. So people has been our focus, and those 3 things is our people, our process, and what we're passionate for. Our process is that strategy, our process, how we do our business, and then our passion is about we can change the world through our company, and it starts from San Diego. It will grow bigger, and that's what we're about. So I definitely, I like the idea of the culture of strategic thinking. Though I'd like to hear a little bit more about that. That sometime maybe take you out for some coffee, because it is. That people element, it's I'll say it again and over again, it's unless you can master that element in business, you don't have a shot.
Yeah. Well, we're getting ready to come up to a break here pretty soon. What's really important right now is tell our listeners how they find out more about REIG renovation, Operation Renovation, and give us all the scoop on how we find that information.
So I'll make it easy, and I'll direct people to Operation Renovation website, because that's my purpose here. And there's links to our other websites. We have 2 different companies. We have a construction company and we have a real estate investment company. Both companies focus on residential as well as commercial multifamily, and they can find those through our website. But what I want right now is for people to go to REIG operationrenovation.com. There's information on how to apply, how to nominate for this home, that donation that we're going to do, because we want to get the correct family being the recipient of it.
Are you taking donations from people to help you on this, or are you doing this yourself?
This one we're doing ourselves. That'll work itself out. I mean,
okay.
It's for right now. I want to get the right family for selected for this home. So we are at some point. If people want to help us out with this and partner up, again, I can do one. With the community, I can do more.
One last thing before we go. What good phone number to get a hold of you?
You can contact for me directly, 619-212-1814. Again, I'm Patrick Clark. I'm one of the owners and co-founders. And again, 619-212-1814.
Great. Thanks for being with us. Great information. I look forward to learning more and getting to know you better. Great. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewstalk.com, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego businesses and the people that are working hard to make a difference in our community. Financialnewstalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after the break with more homegrown business Close Up, and we will have with us Miss Melissa Scott Clark from the Front Porch.